we had some friends that moved to the West Coast, and we corresponded. And a friend of mine and I, we rode the rails. I mean, we bummed, and got into Seattle, and we stayed there for a week or two, and so we went down to the docks, and we talked to one of the longshoremen, and he told us all about the ship and everything, and when it was leaving the next day, and so we decided to stow away on it, and he told us where to go and what to do. And so we stowed away, and that's how we got to Alaska. Yeah. I was working at Whittier, Alaska, at the docks, and when they were putting the tunnel through, and I was drafted. I had to report for a draft over in Cordova. When they had a small contingent of engineers that was running the railroad there, the road wasn't out to the airport, and the base was out at mile 13, and they used the railroad. They had a locomotive and the 2 coaches, and that's the way we got back and forth. Then they transferred us over to Whittier, and then a ship came in. It came in from it was Libby McNeil and Libby, old World War I German freighter that they used to service their canneries with, and they were picking all the draftees up from Ketchikan, Juneau, and us at Whittier, and we went down to Adak. And then 25 of us were transferred into 7th Infantry Division, and we got in on the tail end of that too, and then also for the invasion of Kiska. And then the 7th Infantry Division was trained in desert warfare, and they loaded us all up again, and we were heading south, and we thought we were going to go to San Francisco and have leave and then go to Europe or over to Africa, and we kept going south, and we found out we wound up in Honolulu, Hawaii. Well, we went into Pearl Harbor, and we seen all the they hadn't cleaned up all the damage. There were still quite a few ships that were sunk, and we seen a lot of those are still and then they loaded us up on boxcars and took us into Schofield Barracks, and from there we went into training, for combat training. And I carried a flamethrower on 2 first wave landings at Kwajalein and in the Philippines, and also did demolition work. I was a demolition instructor for a while too. So. And then we went to Kwajalein, and we took Kwajalein Island, and that's where I was wounded. And then we came back to Honolulu again, or Schofield Barracks, and then from there went into training again, and then we went to the Philippines, and we landed there, and on Leyte. One of the experiences I've had was that on these, we were on the west side of the island, and there's women were coming in by boat, and they were having they were sort of cut their breast off. It was frightening, yeah. There was a church there, and there was all kinds of bodies all the way around that, and so we finally got them cornered up on a hill, and they said there was a boat that was that they had, and I was the one that had to go down and try to find the boat. The colonel told me to go down, took a squad of people, and we went down, and we found the boat where the tide was coming in, and they were going to evacuate, and so we blew the boat up, and we knew which way they were coming. And that night that the tide came in, they came in, and we dispatched all of them, so that was the end of that. Well, it's pretty valuable at times, yeah. I handled dynamite when I was a young fellow, and you know, and that helped me in the Army. I mean, I did a lot of demolition training, and we worked on booby traps and made satchel charges and experimented with a lot of, you know, explosives and whatnot to make them very effective, you know. Well, it's not all, it's all worse. I mean, there's no comparison, I think. Well, I don't, it's getting out of it alive is the hardest part, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I was having nightmares for years, for several years, you know. I mean, it wasn't that, you know, it didn't affect me any, but it sure did. When they dropped the atomic bomb, it really, well, it ended the war, and really, we were ready to invade Honshu Island, and they said the casualties would have been horrific, so that was probably a good thing that they did that, I feel. Yeah. Well, we heard that they, you know, that they dropped the bomb, and they surrendered. That was about it. Got through it okay, yeah.